She was just another slave. Until he arrived, she didn't have a name, only a number, slave 717. Her hands were chained behind her back, her legs too, the iron cuffs bit into her skin. She had stopped feeling the pain long ago. Now, it was just cold, hunger, and the smell of fear. Around her were others, some silent, some crying. All broken, they were in a dark metal room, deep inside a slaver ship. The floor vibrated with the hum of engines. Guards in black armor walked past, laughing, drinking, sometimes hitting a slave for no reason. The slavers were cruel, not just because they had power, but because they enjoyed the suffering. Slave 717 had been captured 2 years ago, maybe more. Time didn't mean anything anymore. They took everything from her, her family, her planet, her future. Now, she waited for the end. She thought death would come quietly, maybe in the night, maybe during the next sale. But fate had a different plan. It started with a sound, soft at first. A rumble, then louder, shouting, alarms, something was wrong, something different. The ship shook. Explosions rocked the walls, red lights blinked. Panic, guards ran to their posts. One yelled, "We're under attack." Another voice shouted back, "It's the humans, humans." Slave 717 had only heard stories. Dangerous, emotional creatures, wild, unpredictable, sometimes kind, sometimes brutal. They said humans didn't follow rules. They said humans fought for things like freedom and honor, silly words to slavers she had never seen a human. She didn't expect to ever meet one. Then the door burst open. Smoke filled the room. Bright lights, loud bangs, and then silence, footsteps. Someone entered. Tall, broad, not in black armor, different. He wore light gear, a helmet, and something on his chest with a glowing symbol, a blue circle with wings. His face was tired, but alert. His eyes scanned the slaves, not with hate, not with disgust, but with care. He stepped forward slowly. "It's okay," he said in a calm voice. "You're safe now." Some slaves backed away, others cried. Slave 717 didn't move. She had been tricked before. Many times, no one was safe, not really. Then the human did something strange, something none of the slavers ever did. He knelt in front of her, he looked at her chains, then at her face. "Can I help you?" he asked. She blinked, confused. No one had ever asked her that. Not in years. He pulled out a small device, pressed a button. The cuffs clicked open, her arms dropped, she could barely move them. He caught her before she fell. "Easy," he said. "I got you." His voice was different from the others. Warm, real. "Who are you?" she whispered. He smiled. "LT Coldarin, Terran Alliance." He reached into his pouch and gave her water, real water, clean, cold. She drank like she hadn't tasted anything in days. Because she hadn't. He looked around at the others. "We'll get all of you out. You're not slaves anymore." Those words hit her like thunder. Not a slave. She looked at him again. No chains, no whip, no cruel eyes, just a man, tired, dirty, but honest. Why was he doing this? Why would a human care? As if reading her mind, he said softly, "You deserve better." She didn't know what to say. Behind him, more humans entered. They freed others, gave food, comfort. One even carried a small alien child on his back. The Terran soldiers moved fast. Professional, but they were kind. They treated the prisoners like people, not cargo. Soon, Slave 717 sat in a warm corner with a blanket around her. Her body still hurt, her mind even more, but for the first time, something strange stirred inside her. Hope. LT Cole sat beside her again. "What's your name?" he asked. She hesitated. "I don't have one," he nodded. "Then we'll find you one when you're ready." She stared at him. Why are you helping us?" He looked out at the stars through the broken wall. "Because no one helped us once, and we swore we'd never let that happen again." He stood and held out his hand. "Come with us, fight with us, not as a slave, as a person." She looked at his hand. For a long second, she didn't move. Then slowly, she reached out and took it. Her story didn't end in chains. It was just beginning. Asterisk, the human broke the rules just to save her. They were not supposed to take her. The Terran soldiers had orders: secure the ship, rescue registered prisoners, avoid engaging in further conflict, do not interfere with non-documented captives. She was undocumented, unknown. Not even a name, only the number 717 tattooed on her arm in faded ink. By the rules, she wasn't their problem, but rules never stopped Lieutenant Coldarin before. As the rest of the Terran team evacuated rescued diplomats and prisoners, Cole lingered in the shadows of the slaver ship, watching her. She sat apart from the others, wrapped in a thermal blanket, eyes fixed on the floor, silent, still. The others called her too quiet, too broken, too risky. Cole didn't care. He had seen something in her eyes, not weakness. Fire. She's not on the manifest. His calm officer warned, "We can't bring her back to command. If they find out, then they won't find out," Cole said, cutting him off. He looked back at her. Her skin was marked with old burns, one arm shook from nerve damage. But she met his gaze without fear. You trust me? He asked her quietly. She hesitated. Then nodded once. They moved fast. Cole led her through the burning wreckage of the slaver's ship. Alarms screamed, metal groaned. In the chaos, no one noticed one more shadow slipping through the smoke. They entered the Terran transport. Bay clean, organized, strict. Cameras blinked. Soldiers barked orders. She shouldn't be here, someone said. She's a war witness. Cole lied smoothly. Special intelligence. I'll debrief her myself. A few skeptical looks. A few glances at her scars, but no one argued. With Cole, not yet. They reached his ship. Door sealed behind them. Silence. She looked around. Wide-eyed, the Terran vessel was strange. Smooth walls, gentle lights. Machines that hummed softly instead of growling. This is yours, she asked. In a soft voice. Ours, now, Cole replied. That night, while the ship flew quietly through the stars. She sat in the med bay, clean clothes, soft bed, fresh bandages. A robot gently scanned her wounds. She had not been touched with kindness in years. Cole leaned against the wall, arms crossed, watching. I don't understand you, she finally said. Why are you helping me? Because I was like you once, he said. She turned to him. They took my brother, he continued. Slavers, same ones, years ago. He died in a cage. I couldn't save him. So now I save who I can. She didn't speak for a long time. Then, thank you, he gave a small smile. Don't thank me yet. You're not safe. Next morning. Command called. General Hale appeared on screen. Sharp voice, cold eyes. We received your report, Lieutenant. You brought back more than prisoners. Cole stayed calm. I believe she has vital intelligence, locations, routes, supply chains. She's not recognized by our files. She's not a citizen. She saved my life on the field. She earned a place. Hale paused, then gave a warning look. If you're hiding anything, Cole, it'll cost you. The screen blinked off. Cole turned to her. They'll try to send you away. Then I'll leave, she said, shrugging. He shook his head. No. I have a better idea. Training bay, day 3. Hold it tighter, Cole said, handing her a shock blade. She gripped it, unsure. You're fast, smart, but you need control, he continued. Slavers taught you to obey. I'll teach you to fight. She moved, fast, blade slicing. Through the air, again and again. On the 6th strike, she nearly cut his arm. He stepped back. Surprised. She smiled for the first time. See, she said. By the end of the week, she wasn't hiding anymore. She ate with the crew. She laughed, a little. She even fixed a broken drone one night, shocking the engineer. Where'd you learn that? He asked. I used to fix slaver collars, she replied. Same tech. The room went silent. No one joked, but they began to look at her differently, not like a victim, like a weapon. But danger was not far. A message was intercepted. Encrypted, Imperial code. From the ruins of the slaver ship. Target 717 not confirmed dead, possible breach. Bounty raised to 40,000 credits. Terminate on sight. Someone wanted her erased. Cole stared at the message. They're coming for you. She didn't flinch. Then, let them come. Later that night, Cole found her staring at the stars outside the observation deck. What are you thinking? He asked. I want to stop running, she said. I want to make them fear me. Like they made me fear them, he nodded. Then we'll give you a name, a new one. She looked at him. You pick, she said. He thought for a moment. Then said softly, Arya, Arya, she repeated. Testing the word, it felt sharp, clean, hers. Welcome to the war, Arya. She thought he would betray her, but he didn't. Ship was too quiet. Arya stood in the corner of the Terran cruiser's mess hall, watching soldiers eat, laugh, talk. They were kind to her now, nodding, offering food, asking questions. But inside, she didn't feel like one of them. Not yet, not really. Humans were strange. They fought wars with fire in their hearts, but joked like nothing mattered. They showed emotions freely. Arya didn't know what to do with that. Old Cole Darren, the human who saved her, kept his word. He trained her, protected her, even gave her a name. But deep down, a question kept burning inside her. What does he want in return? That night, she followed him. Not to hurt him. Just to know. He left the crew quarters and entered a private chamber, locked. She slipped through the air ducts, silent, fast, ghost-like. When she reached the vent above, she saw him speaking to a small screen. His voice was low, serious. I know what I'm doing, Hale. She's not a threat. She's an asset. Double quotes, pause. Double quotes, no, she doesn't know yet. And she doesn't have to. Pause again. Arya's pulse quickened. What didn't she have to know? Cole looked tired, angry. We don't use people like this. She's not a weapon, not a tool. The screen cut off. Arya dropped silently back into the hallway. The next morning, she didn't speak to him. Cole noticed. Something on your mind, he asked as they trained. She dodged his punch fast. Should I trust you? He frowned. You already do, don't you? She didn't answer. Not yet. Later. The ship docked on a neutral colony world, Heaven's Edge, a small, dusty station between human and alien space. They needed fuel, repairs, and rest. Cole let Arya come along. You've earned your place, he said. This is freedom now, taste it. She walked through the marketplace in silence, strange smells. Bright colors, music, it overwhelmed her. No guards, no collars. But something didn't feel right. Then she saw him. A slaver, not in armor, not in chains, dressed as a merchant, but she recognized his eyes. He had owned her once. Rage surged up inside her like fire. Her breath stopped. Her hands shook. She reached for the blade hidden in her belt. Arya, Cole said, appearing beside her, voice calm. Wait, he's one of them. I know. Then why is he alive? Cole stared at the slaver, then looked at her. Because he's not worth it, she growled. He tortured children. Cole's voice was firm. And we're not murderers, we're better than them. Arya turned away, breathing hard. If you ever betray me, she said coldly, I'll know, and I won't stop. Cole nodded. Fair enough. That night, betrayal came, but not from him. Arya was alone in the guest quarters of the colony. A soft knock on the door. She opened it and saw another Terran officer, Major Rowe. Charming, clean uniform, smiling. Too much. Arya, right? I've read about you. She didn't trust the smile. What do you want? Just to talk. He stepped in uninvited. You're special, you know, rare, dangerous. I'm not interested. Oh, but you should be. He leaned closer. We're building something bigger than Cole dares to imagine. We need soldiers like you, not soft hearts, real power. You think I'd betray him? He laughed. Betray? Please, he's using you. We all are. Might as well work with someone who admits it. She stared at him. Something inside her cracked. Not fear, not doubt. Clarity. She stepped forward slowly, her voice calm. You're wrong about one thing. What's that? She punched him in the throat. He choked, fell back, gasping. Before he could speak again, she pressed the blade to his chest. I choose who I am, she whispered. Not you, not the slavers, not anyone. Then she called Cole. Cole stormed in. Saw Rowe on the floor, saw Arya standing over him. She expected anger, questions, maybe even blame, but instead, he nodded. I'm glad you didn't kill him, he said softly. I thought about it, she said. Me too, he replied. Then he looked at her, really looked at her. You thought I'd betray you, he said. She didn't deny it. But I didn't, he added. She nodded. No, you didn't. The next day, Cole was summoned back to command. But before leaving, he gave Arya a small case. Inside was a comm band, custom-coated, black metal, with the Terran symbol etched on it. You're part of this now, he said. Not because you owe me, because you've earned it. Arya looked down at the band, then slowly put it on her wrist. What if I fail? She whispered. Cole smiled. Then you fail forward, and we stand with you. But deep in the shadows of Heaven's Edge, someone watched her from a distance. Cold eyes, metal mask, imperial armor. A bounty hunter. He whispered into a device. Confirmed. Target Arya alive. Initiating phase 2. Asterisk. They called her weak. She proved them wrong. Arya had never held command. She had never worn a uniform. She had never been free to choose her own fight until now. The Terran Alliance cruiser Valkyria floated in orbit above the barren moon of Caldisfor. Below, the Empire's slaver base hid beneath jagged rocks and scorched canyons, invisible to most sensors, shielded, armed, deadly. Intel said the Empire had a secret facility there. They were training new enforcers, and worse, they were creating something alive. Old Cole Darren stood in the briefing room with a small team of officers. Arya stood beside him, silent but watching. Her sharp eyes noticed everything. Who spoke with confidence? Who whispered doubts when they thought she couldn't hear? Commander Jin, an older Terran tactician, pointed at her and frowned. With respect, sir, she's not Alliance, she's not trained, she's unstable. Arya didn't react. She had heard worse. Cole turned slowly. You think she's unstable? He asked. Zhen nodded. She's a former slave, emotionally compromised. Arya stepped forward, voice calm, steady. I've survived worse than any of you. I don't need your approval. I just need a chance. Jin smirked. And what if you fail? She stared at him. Then I die with my eyes open, not in chains. Cole handed her a datapad. You're leading Strike Team 2, infiltration and extraction. In and out before they know you're there. Arya looked at the screen. For names listed under her command, all Terran soldiers, none of them looked happy. Later, in the hangar, one of her team members approached her. A tall soldier with cybernetic arms and a bad attitude. I don't take orders from aliens, he said coldly. Arya looked him in the eye. Good, she replied. Then follow my lead. Not my orders, he blinked, confused. We succeed together, she said, or we die alone. The drop was silent. A stealth pod descended through the clouds of Caldisfor. Wind howled outside. Red dust slammed against the windows. Inside, Arya checked her gear, blade, sidearm, comms. Old scars. Her heart beat steady. The pod hit the ground. The doors opened. Darkness. Cold wind. Jagged rocks. They moved fast. 5 shadows in the dust. Arya led them through hidden paths, using old smuggler maps and her memory of Imperial patrol patterns. At the edge of the facility, they found the entrance, a hidden tunnel beneath a rock ledge. Two guards stood watch. Arya made a gesture. Her team moved, silent, clean, deadly. Seconds later, both guards were down, no alarms. They entered the tunnel. Inside, the Empire's new horrors waited. They found cages, small ones, full of children. Alien children, some injured, some too weak to stand. One boy looked up at Arya, eyes wide with fear. He whispered a word she hadn't heard in years, help. She froze. The room spun for a moment. She remembered her own cage, her own screams, the smell of blood. Then she stood up straight. We get them out, she ordered, now. But then the lights went red. Alarm. They know we're here, one soldier shouted. Arya didn't panic. Secure the kids. Set charges, hold the door. She moved like lightning, blade flashing, sidearm firing clean shots. Imperial enforcers stormed in, large, armored, enhanced. Arya dodged one's blow, rolled, and stabbed upward, the blade sliding between plates. The soldier fell. They're using new armor. Someone yelled. Arya grabbed a fallen weapon, plasma core rifle. Then we use new tactics. The fight was brutal. Dust, fire, screaming. One of her soldiers was wounded. Another almost captured. Arya dragged him back herself, shoulder burning. Eyes locked on the exit. They reached the evac point, but the children were still trapped inside. A falling beam blocked the way. Arya looked at Cole's voice blinking on the comm. Arya, report. You have 60 seconds to extract. She looked at the cage, then at her team. Go, she said. What? The cyberarmed soldier stared. Get out, I'll get the kids. You won't make it. She looked at him. Calm, sharp, then remember me as the one who tried. She ran. Inside, fire raged. The ceiling groaned. Arya kicked down the cage lock, pulled the children out, carried one, guided the others. Blasts echoed behind her. The roof cracked. But she didn't stop. Outside, the dropship waited. Her team stood by the ramp, shouting. Then they saw her silhouette, burned, limping, carrying 2 children. 3 more behind her. They ran forward, helped pull them in. The ship took off. Arya collapsed to her knees, breathing hard. She had made it. Barely. Back on the Valkyria, the debrief was silent. Commander Jin watched the recovered footage. She broke protocol, disobeyed evacuation order. Cole crossed his arms. She saved 9 lives. Arya stood at the back, watching. She didn't speak. Jin finally turned to her. You're still not one of us. Arya looked at him. I'm not trying to be. She stepped forward. I'm not Terran. I'm not Empire. I'm something new. Pause. And I'm not weak. In the dark of deep space, in a hidden chamber, the bounty hunter received new orders. She's rising. The voice said. The slaves whisper her name. The Empire grows nervous. The bounty hunter loaded his rifle. Then I'll be her reminder. No one escapes. When the Empire found out, they put a bounty on her head. The galaxy didn't know her name, not yet. But whispers had already begun. A girl with fire in her veins, the slave who fought back. The one who walks free across mining colonies and prison moons. Her story passed from cell to cell, like a secret flame in the dark. And the Empire noticed. On the Imperial capital moon. Inside a cold marble chamber, 3 high lords of the Slaver Council stood in silence. A holo screen hovered between them, frozen on an image, a battle-scarred woman. Standing over wreckage, children behind her, smoke rising around her silhouette, her eyes calm. Her face burned, but proud. Arya double quotes this. One lord spat. Is becoming a problem. She should have died in the cages. Another growled. Now she's turning slaves into soldiers. The third didn't speak. He simply pressed a finger on the screen. The image zoomed in on her face. We make examples, he said coldly, not heroes. He turned to the bounty agent behind them. Find her, kill her, make sure the last thing she sees is a collar. That same night, in an outer system, a bounty board updated. Wanted, subject, Arya, former Imperial asset, high-value target, dead, preferred reward. 100,000 Imperial credit status, kill on sight. Screen flickered, and deep in the shadows, he saw it. The hunter. Silent, masked, cold eyes, no name, no mercy. He whispered to his ship's AI, track all Terran movements. She's with them, aboard the Valkyria. Arya was training again, faster now, stronger. She moved like a blade in the dark, sharp and silent. The soldiers who once doubted her now tried to keep up. You're pushing too hard, Cole said, watching from the doorway. Arya didn't stop, not hard enough. They're watching us now, the Empire. The bounty's public, good. She said, let them come. But Cole wasn't smiling. They don't just want you dead, he said. They want to break what you represent. She looked at him. Then we make it bigger. 2 days later, they landed on a neutral world, a refugee colony called Myros Station. Cole had arranged a secret meeting with rebel leaders, exiles, escaped prisoners, smugglers who had suffered under the Empire. Arya walked through the crowd of worn faces, scarred fighters, and frightened refugees. Some stared at her. Others whispered. They recognized her. She stood before them. No speech prepared, no plan. Just truth. I was one of you, she said. They tried to kill my name before I ever had one. She paused, but I lived. And now, I'm done surviving. I'm ready to fight. No one clapped, but no one turned away either. And that was enough, but someone was watching through a sniper scope across a rooftop. The bounty hunter had found her. His breath was calm, his aim perfect, but just before he pulled the trigger, a child stepped in front of Arya, tugging her sleeve. Arya bent down, smiled gently. Listen. The hunter waited. Then he slowly lowered the rifle. Not yet, he said to himself. I want her to see it coming. Later that night, Cole received a private message, encrypted. A voice he hadn't heard in years. Darren, this is command. The situation is shifting. Too many eyes on you. Bring the girl in. Protective custody. Cole narrowed his eyes. That's not going to happen. This isn't a request. She's a political problem now, an alliance symbol we didn't authorize. If we don't control her, someone else will. Cole looked across the hallway, where Arya was resting. She had been dreaming again, twitching in her sleep, fists clenched. Still fighting ghosts. He turned off the screen. He wouldn't give her up, not again. Hours later, the ambush came. Unknown ships dropped out of warp near the station. Not Imperial, not Terran. Mercs, bounty hunters, ex-Imperial assassins. A private army, paid to do one thing, take her alive or not. Arya was awake before the first shot. Evac the civilians, she ordered. Now, Cole was already moving, shouting orders. Alarms rang across the station. Explosions shook the walls, their jamming signals. One officer yelled. Arya looked out a shattered window, saw ships landing in the dust. They're not here to win, she whispered. They're here to send a message. She moved like lightning. Blaster in one hand, blade in the other, moving through fire, protecting children, pulling wounded soldiers to safety. At one point, she faced 3 armored marks alone in the corridor. That's her, one growled. The Empire's prize. She didn't speak, she just attacked. Her blade sliced through one's knee joint, then his throat. She dodged a blast, fired 2 shots, center mass. Only one left. He dropped his gun and ran. Arya let him go. The battle lasted 28 minutes. By the end, the marks were dead or gone. The station was scarred, but still standing. Arya sat in the ruins of the command center, blood on her face, fire in her eyes. Cole came to her, slow, cautious. You okay? She looked at him. They sent a message, she said. And what message did we send back? Arya stood, looked into the sky. You should have killed me when I was weak, far away. The Imperial Council watched the footage. The masked lord stood. She's not just resisting, he said. She's becoming a myth. Another lord shook her head. Then we turned the myth into a warning. They pressed a button. A new order appeared. Target, Arya status, priority 1 reward, 250. 0 dead only asterisk. They tried to break her again. They failed. They waited until she was alone. After weeks of attacks, bounty hunters, and assassination attempts, the Terran Alliance had moved Arya to a hidden base in the tundra world of Cell is -9. Cold, distant, safe. Or so they thought. Arya had gone outside the perimeter that day, just for a moment. A quiet walk, away from strategy meetings, away from war. The snow crunched beneath her boots. The wind howled across the ice. For a second, she forgot she was hunted. Then came the silence. Too perfect, too still. She turned too late. A shock net slammed into her from above. Power surged through her body. Nerves screamed. Her vision went white. The last thing she saw was the mask, the bounty hunter. When she woke up, she was back in a cage, just like before. Except this time, the walls were cleaner, brighter, polished steel. This was no slaver ship. This was Imperial High Command, and they weren't going to sell her. They were going to erase her. For 3 days, they kept her in silence. No sound, no light, no warmth, just a chair, cold food, and a voice that came from the walls. You were never free. The humans used you. You are not one of them. She didn't answer, not even once. On the 4th day, they changed tactics. They sent him in. Commander Jarn Vakel, Imperial interrogator, calm, smiling, cruel in the quiet way. He entered the room without guards, just him, and a file. He sat down across from her. Opened the file. Arya, he said, as if tasting the name, so dramatic. The slaves whisper your name now. You've made yourself a flag. She stayed silent. You know what happens to flags, he continued. They burn. He pushed a small holoscreen toward her. Images of villages, dead Terran soldiers, families, children. Your rebellion did this. You inspired Them, and they died for it. Still no answer. He leaned closer. And the humans, they've abandoned you. Not even your precious Cole came looking. Her fingers twitched. Yar and noticed. Double quotes. So he matters. How sweet. On the 5th day, they began. The simulations. Neural loops, memory fog. Forced hallucinations, they made her see things. Cole dying, the Terran Alliance falling. Her old cage, her younger self begging for help, they whispered in her ears while she slept. You belong to us again. You were never strong, just lucky. The fire will die, but it did in single quotes. Arya curled tighter in the corner of her cell. And burned hotter. On the 7th day, Jarn returned. He brought a single item, her old collar. He dropped it at her feet. This is your final chance, he said. We put that back on, and this time, it stays. Arya looked up at him. For the first time in 7 days. She laughed. It was low, dry, broken, but real. Yar and flinched slightly. What's so funny? She stood slowly. You don't get it, she said. He narrowed his eyes. Get what? You took everything from me, she said, voice rising. My name, my family, my freedom. She stepped closer, and I still became more than you. Before he could respond, the lights cut out. The door blew open. They came for her. The bounty hunter's body hit the floor first, dropped by a clean sniper. Shot from outside, Cole stormed into the room, flanked by 2 strike soldiers. Arya. She didn't run to him, she didn't need to. She walked out of the cell on her own, eyes blazing. You're late, she said. Cole smirked. You're hard to track. She looked down at the collar Jarn had left, then picked it up. And snapped it in half on the escape ship. Cole sat beside her. They tried to break you, he said quietly. They did, she replied. But they broke the wrong version of me later. On a rebel broadcast that looped across 12 systems, a new message aired, a simple video. Arya. Standing in front of the crushed collar. No uniform, no rank. Just power. You tried to chain me again, she said. You failed. She stared into the camera. We're not afraid of you anymore. Across the Empire, the message spread like wildfire. On prison moons. Slaves stared at flickering screens in silence. On mining worlds, overseers found graffiti they didn't understand. We are Arya. Burn the collars, and far away, in the dark halls of the Imperial Core, the High Lords watched the rebellion grow. She's no longer a threat, one whispered. She's becoming something worse. The masked lord turned to the others. She's becoming unstoppable. She was a slave, now she's a legend. They called her a myth now. Arya the Flame. The girl who broke chains, the voice that made slaves stand, but she was real. And she was coming. The Empire's last stronghold sat deep in the black seas of the planet Galleon Prime, a fortress carved into obsidian cliffs. Powered by stolen suns, guarded by 10,000 enforcers. It was here they broke generations of prisoners, and it was here they would fall. Above the planet, in orbit, the Allied fleet waited. Not just terrans. Not just rebels, but ships bearing markings from dozens of oppressed species, insectoid engineers from Karnax, armored lizard pilots from Urdis, even rogue AI units once bound to Imperial control. They had all come, because she had come. Arya stood on the command bridge of the lead cruiser. No medals. No rank. Just a voice. They built this fortress on fear, she said, but today, we take it apart. Brick by brick. Cole stood beside her, silent. He had stopped leading her months ago. Now, he followed her. The battle began like thunder. Fighters swarmed the sky. Ground troops descended in waves. Heavy cannons rained down from the cliffs. And Arya? Arya led from the front. She landed with the first assault team, not in armor, but in speed and flame. Her new suit was lighter, fused with alien tech, heat-resistant. Symbol etched across the back, a broken collar, burning. Go, she shouted, dodging fire. Slicing through a gunner line, push through. Every door we take is one more that never closes again. The fortress was a maze of walls and codes. Arya's team moved like ghosts. They hacked blast doors, disabled traps, overran guard towers. But deeper inside, the real weapon waited. Project Nullborn. A secret creation, living machines, bred not for war, but for control. One of them stepped into Arya's path. 12 feet tall, no face, no voice. Only a chain wrapped around each limb. You are not Arya, it said in a cold synthetic tone. Arya is fiction. Arya stepped forward. Then I guess fiction hurts, she charged. The fight was brutal. Arya ducked, rolled, slashed its joints, climbed its back, pulling cables, stabbing plasma lines. The Nullborn slammed her into a wall. She hit the floor hard, bleeding, shoulder cracked. But she didn't stop. She used the pain she always had. Arya jumped back up, this time with a power core grenade in hand. You belong in the trash, she said, and threw it straight into its core. Boom. Silence. The beast fell. On the higher levels, Cole led the second wave. They secured the control center, cutting off reinforcements. Arya He said through comms, main reactor level is yours. You're alone down there, not alone. She replied, just focused. She reached the heart of the fortress. A hall made of black steel and memory, lined with symbols of every empire that came before this one. At the far end, the masked lord waited. Tall, calm, deadly. He removed his helmet. An old man, eyes like ash. Do you think you're special? He asked her. You're just the next Spark. We've crushed sparks for centuries. Arya dropped the broken collar on the floor. It clinked. You forgot what happens when sparks find each other, she said. He lunged. They fought. Not long. He was trained. She was reborn. In seconds. It was over. She didn't kill him. She didn't have to. He looked up at her, defeated. They'll just replace me. Maybe, she said, but they'll never replace me. She stood over the central reactor. The entire facility could be wiped with a single overload, but she didn't press the button. She opened the doors. Prisoners inside. Hundreds. They stared at her like she was a dream. Arya stepped forward. Your names were taken, but you're still here. She held up her calm. Say your names, all of you. Let the galaxy hear them, and they did. Voices rose, one by one, trembling, defiant. The system broadcasted their names to every planet the Empire controlled, thousands of names. And at the end Arya spoke. My name was 717, they gave it to me, but I chose my own. I am Arya, I was born in a cage. But I will die free. The fortress fell. Not with an explosion, but with a roar of names the Empire could no longer silence. Weeks later, across rebel space, statues began to rise, not of soldiers, not of emperors, but of a girl holding a shattered collar. Flames behind her. Not for glory. Not for war. For freedom. In a quiet field, far from war. Cole found her again. She sat alone, watching children play near a fire. It's over, he said. Arya looked at him. No, she said softly. It's just beginning. He smiled. What will you do now? She stood. Walked toward the children and said, I'll teach them to never bow again. She was a slave. Now she's a legend, and legends never die.